If you've been crying out and still can't hear the Father, this is for you. You've been praying, like really praying, and struggling to hear the Father. I've been there too. I used to set super early alarms, try to sit in silence, even scream in my closet. I was just hoping He would say something, but all I got was silence. And the longer it went on, the more I questioned if I was doing something wrong. Maybe I wasn't zealous enough, or maybe I'm just not spiritual enough to hear Him. But I've come to see that His silence wasn't a rejection. It was actually an invitation. Today, I want to help you see that the Father is not a long way off, and you're probably hearing Him more than you think. When I first met Jesus in 2011, one of the first things that happened was I quickly got around people who would say things like, God told me this, or I heard God say this, or God showed me that. And I saw in the Bible some verses like the Holy Spirit said to Philip, go and walk beside the carriage, or Jesus saying things like, I say nothing unless I hear the Father say it. And I just had all these questions like, well, what does He sound like? Or what do you mean God showed you that? Like you saw it? Do you mean like it appeared in front of your eyes? Or what is this whole thing about God talking to me? And it provoked a really intense zeal in me. So I would start setting my alarm like 3 hours before I needed to be awake for work so that I could go and pray, spend time in prayer. And the problem was I was staying up late going to church, or staying in my closet, literally with my roommates trying to sleep, and I'm screaming in the closet, just begging God to talk to me. And one of the verses that really stuck out to me is where Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. And I'm like, I believe in you, but I'm not hearing you. I don't know your voice. And I didn't realize it then, but I was actually approaching the Father who called me His Son as if I were an orphan. I knew I was His son here, but deep in my being, in my heart, I believed I still had to approach Him with the right amount of zeal or devotion or the right amount of faith, in a sense, trying to earn the voice of the Father. Now, I wouldn't have said it that way. I didn't believe I was trying to earn it, because of course you can't earn it. But that in reality was the experience that I was having internally. And it didn't change overnight, but over time, something began to shift. And I've got some really key things that I want to share with you that I think might help you not have to take as long as it took for me. I started to believe that He wants me to know His voice. That's one of the big shifts that happened for me. And not just believe that He wants me to know His voice, but He actually wants me to know it more than I myself want to know it. And in that rest, that rest that came from believing that He's the one that wants this for me, in that rest, I actually started hearing Him. It wasn't in dramatic ways. Sometimes it was. But most of the time, it's what I call whispers, an impression, a verse that maybe wouldn't leave me. Like I would feel the verse, I would feel compelled to read it, and then somebody in my random life or a pastor would say the verse, those kind of things. Now, in order to hear the Father's voice regularly in your life, there's something really important that you're going to have to understand. His silence, it isn't rejection, and it's not distance, all right? It's an opportunity, and that opportunity is for formation in you, Sometimes those moments of silence are actually Him teaching us, shaping us, and causing us to learn how to listen differently. That's the key. You might think you're listening, but He's teaching you to learn a different way. Again, my sheep know my voice. It's not a badge that you earn, It's an identity. All right. My sheep hear my voice is not something you do. It's something you have become. Okay. Now, maybe you don't feel like you're hearing his voice yet, but this is where it starts. We often fall for the trap that if I'm more spiritual, if I do the right things, then I'd be hearing him. Okay. So if I'm not hearing him, it means I'm not doing things right. It means I'm not living in the way that I should, or maybe I'm not who I thought I was in him. But hearing the Father isn't about intensity. It isn't about what you bring to the table. It's about intimacy. And that seems really almost too simple. Seems easily dismissible. But it's not about our religious performance. It's about being at rest. Okay, and that's a key word, being at rest. All right. Rest is confidence. Rest is like a child who goes to their dad when they're thirsty. And they don't go and say, Daddy, if I could only just have a little bit of water. I know that I did this yesterday, and I know that I haven't been talking to you the way that I should, but if I could just have a little bit, just a little bit. No, they say, Daddy, I'm thirsty. And then they go back to playing with their toys because they know here in a second, Dad's bringing me some water. So it's not about religious performance. It's about rest. Okay. What really convicted me was what Jesus says in the Last Supper to the disciples about the Holy Spirit that's coming. He says, the Holy Spirit will lead you into all truth. That means that me knowing the truth is his job, not mine. That must mean that he's going to lead me personally, that I don't have to force my way into hearing. You don't have to force your way into hearing. You get to trust your way into it. Okay? The Father is so patient. So don't worry if this hasn't worked for you yet. The Father is so patient. And just like a loving parent teaching a child maybe to walk, he's okay with the long-term process and you working at it and learning it. He's not in a rush. So you don't need to be worried about that. You can be at rest. He wants you to hear him more than you want to hear him. Now, I've got a really simple tip that will help you tremendously, but you have to promise me you're not going to look at this as a religious thing to do, right? Because again, this isn't about doing all the right things, but there are things you can do. And this tip absolutely changed my walk with the Holy Spirit, hearing the Father's voice, and is this. Yes, this notebook. In fact, if we can get this to, keep it simple. Don't complicate it. But what I started doing is I started writing down every little thing, maybe not every little thing, but especially the little things that I thought he was saying. And it's not like crazy stuff. Like, I didn't go into great detail. Okay, so a lot of this is just like little bullet points, little things here and there, little indentions. It's like a moment, and I'll date it. But what I started doing was taking down every little thing that I thought he was saying, every big thing that it seemed he was saying. Not just the dramatic moments, right? Though I did include those, but the quiet impressions. And I'd write them down because I wasn't always sure if it was him, but I began to believe he wants me to know. So he'll show me if it's not. But then what began to happen started blowing my mind, and it hasn't stopped for, let's see, it's 2025. This started in 2019. It's been going 6 years. When I honored his voice, when I took those notes, I began to hear him more clearly. Like, not just a little bit, and not just sometimes, but very frequently and very clearly. Okay? I would start to notice that the things I wrote down ended up actually becoming part of a longer story. It was almost like, wow, that was a really interesting thing that I thought I'm hearing, or a theme I keep seeing pop up. And then you realize days, months, sometimes years down the road, this was something that he was orchestrating in a way you would have never noticed if you weren't paying attention. But I also started to ask him in prayer, what have you already been speaking to me? And that's another tip for you too, is as you're maybe taking note, ask him, what have you been speaking to me that maybe I haven't been paying attention to? And I promise you, as you honor even the little things that you hear, you're going to start hearing more. And as you build up that experience of knowing, okay, sometimes I thought that I was hearing him and that clearly panned out to not be him, that was me. But these other things, maybe it's just 2 or 3 things, that was him. And it begins to make it much more clear what seems like it's him, but it's actually your thoughts, and what really is him speaking to you. So try stillness in prayer. Not rushing, not even asking, just being and believing. You are the beloved child of the Father. He's not going silent. He's always talking. And he's talking to you. And he wants you to know his voice. So those are my 2 tips. Keep a journal. Some people use their phone. That's fine. I like to keep these pocket-sized ones. And pray in stillness. Already invoking a sense of faith, even if you don't necessarily feel it. You don't always have to feel it. But trust it anyway. Because you're not trying to earn something. Okay? You're already loved enough to be spoken to by the Father. So rest and listen. Now remember, you're not broken, you're not behind, and you're not being punished. The Father's voice isn't a reward. It's a gift rooted in love. You are his child, and he speaks to his children. Even when it's quiet, he's near. He's not hiding. He's leading. If this resonated, if you're wondering if the Father is really speaking to you or if it's just your thoughts, you'll definitely want to watch the video called Can You Really Hear the Holy Spirit? Ashley and I share real stories about how the Holy Spirit began leading us, sometimes subtly, sometimes unmistakably, and how you can start growing in confidence too. The video's right here, so check it out. And hey, if this helped you, give it a like and hit the subscribe button. We post Spirit-led content like this to help you rest in the Father's love and live from sonship, not striving. And drop a comment. Let us know how the Father has been speaking to you lately. Even if it's subtle, let's kind of activate that faith even now by sharing with our friends. And remember, you're already loved. You don't have to earn his voice. You just get to trust it.